Ross, do we need to draw the distinction between the corrupt government in India and its relatively honest masses in general?
I think I'm not really too familiar with the corruption scandal that's going on in India, but from what my life's experience is this: corruption's in every country and everywhere, and basically the people themselves are corrupt. They're always going faster than the speed limit. Everybody's chipping away at the rules, but the people in charge, the ones who are setting the laws up and running the countries, should be on a higher plane. They should be statesmen. They should be fighting for the people. And for personal enrichment, they all do it. And that's unfortunate. I look forward, I hope within my children's lifetime, because it's not going to happen in mine, that there will be all over the world, they'll rise up and say enough is enough. Maybe we have an environmental catastrophe coming where all the countries will have to band together. Who knows? I don't know what. But somehow, some way, people running governments all over the world have got to stop. They've got to be mature adults and take care of their people and stop throwing their money away and stealing it.
Is the materialistic government in India more corrupt now than it has been before, or has it always been a long-standing problem?
Well, I think if we may look at India's history in the last 63 years, we can say the term of two first Prime Ministers of India, Mr. Nehru and Shastri, may have been an honest era in that part. Since Indira Gandhi took over, and then her son Rajiv Gandhi and now her crony Manmohan Singh are in office, it has gone worst. And particularly in the last couple of years, when the hegemonic state economy has opened to the private sector as well, there are a lot of more opportunities than they were before. So now in Manmohan Singh's government during the last 6 years, as he's a second-term Prime Minister, scandal after scandal is erupting for the reason that lot of money is exchanging hands, number one. Number two, more free media. Now, before, even if there were scandals that were in the print media and it was not a story of the day, now with the electronic media, 24-hour news channels and reports, it's more people are becoming aware about the corruption in India.
The TV is still, the electronic media is still government controlled in India?
Not really. There is, as Bharatiya Doordarshan, Indian TV is under their control. But there are a lot of private channels as well, as they have come up with a law that if any foreign investment, which is less than 50%, means 49%, any foreign investment and 51% of some Indian, then they allow them to have their own TV channels, TV and other electronic media. So there are now a couple of TV channels privately owned. Yes.
But what do you make of Sonia Gandhi's remark that India's moral universe is shrinking?
No, I think she herself is, now look at the first term of Rajiv Gandhi as a Prime Minister. The big scandal was the Bofors gun scandal, in which these Bofors guns manufactured in Sweden were bought by her husband. And one Mr. Kwatachari, who was a middleman in that gun scandal, was actually the family friend of Sonia Gandhi. So even now, like Commonwealth scandal, Suresh Kalamardi, he is accused of misappropriating almost $6 billion in the Commonwealth Games, is very confident of Sonia Gandhi herself. So I think overall the party structure there, it may be Congress, it may be BJP, is such that it can't be said about India at least that any of them is above suspicion. And even in today's context, I think Manmohan Singh is running a most corrupt government in the last 63 years.
Chuck, how do you read the Indian Prime Minister's silence on this matter? He himself has an impeccable record, being honest. But
yeah, I remember a plaque on my mother's wall, something about speak up and remove all, oh, I won't even go there. But something, I don't think this is going to be a very controversial program, sounding like pretty much we're all in agreement on the issue of corruption. I do have a kind of a question about the issue of corruption in India in terms of the intense poverty that's there. You know, the fact that 10,000 children die every day in India from malnutrition and infection, yet you have this growing wealth of people, professionals, media people, movies, really in this complete direction that how much does it play when you see that kind of poverty? Does it play on your intuition in terms of what you do with your life? You know, that corruption seems to be a selfish motivation. If it were done in the context of helping the poor, like you were talking about actually governments helping the people, if you were corrupt in the context of helping the poor, would it be seen as corruption? You know, would it, but normally it's in the tune of getting stuff for yourself. It's trying to better yourself, and when you have that intense poverty and the lethalness of that poverty, is that a motivation to be more corrupt, to make sure you have protection from that kind of
I
lethal
think
poverty?
the recent cases or scandals in India, which are now we are discussing as a part of it, how corrupt the government is. One is of $40 billion that one India's communication minister, Mr. A. Raja, handed over licenses to his chosen people, and the criteria they made was first come, first serve. And he got billions of dollars out of commission, and the government lost $40 billion of revenue. So it has nothing to do with the common man, with the poverty eradicating programs, or even anything to do with the farmers' welfare. As thousands, as you gave the figure that 10,000 children are dying every day, government's own one bureau has issued a report that 10,000 farmers in India have committed suicide in the last 3 years.
Okay, now,
So all those
let me-
sections are
let
suffering,
me
and but
move.
on the top they are making money.
Ross, I think what they are saying now is, and what Chuck's point is, that if there is so much poverty and if the graft is growing, India's economy is booming, and so is the graft. But the thing about is that the 40 million, did you
Billion,
say
40
40 billion that
Yes.
they lost in revenue by issuing throwaway prices license could have been used to alleviate some of the poverty. India does make a lot of money, and if the corruption eats it all up, then the poor remain poor and the rich get richer. Kami, where do you come on this?
I think because of the liberation of media, there is a little bit of exaggeration. Whenever market forces are released, you know, India used to have a central economy for a long time, and we should give some credit to Manmohan Singh that he brought tried to develop economy with the Western model, and because of that, there is always going to be a little bit corruption. But I think whenever you are going to have this kind of market forces coming up, making economic development, you are going to have some corruption, and I think we should accept that as part of the system. But what happened after a few years, like maybe 5 or 6 years, when people's living standards increase, then people get more education, gradually it would go down. It would take some time, but system would clean itself. But at the beginning, I think there is really no option. There is going to be corruption.
No, I think to say that by doing this corruption the system is growing is not a kind of argument one will make. The fact of the matter is that the corruption is being, it's not only just the scandals. Look at one report which came just in the last month, that in the Swiss banks, $460 billion of Indians. That is the number one country in the world which has more money there. Now, from where that money came? So the loot has not started just with the changed laws or something. That is how the system had been. Now it has become worse. So I think until unless there is an accountability, nothing will change.
Let me address this point and ask Joe on this. When you look at the tax evasion, which is very common in India, and the underground economy, that's half as large as the legal one. Indians with the illicit cash tend to stash it abroad. So, you never have enough revenue then to alleviate the plight of the ordinary people.